How Arby's has endured through the years. Let's check it out.
Way back in 1964, Ohio's Raffle brothers saw the oversaturation of hamburger joints and decided to start a different kind of venture.
Hamburger joints, roast beef, and I never tried roast beef, guys. I don't know, it kind of scared me.
They called it Arby's, a name derived from their initials.
Like I grew up conditioned to eat ground beef patties, like the standard. They call it the standard American diet.
Arby, and set out to serve roast beef sandwiches from sea to shining sea. But how?
The two sides, yo.
How could it?
we used to have like a choir at my daycare, and we always sing whatever song has "C2 Shining Sea" on it. We always sang
The
that.
franchise survived years of being the punchline of the fast food world.
Oh, we ate it. People will eat
anything.
Today, we're sinking our teeth into the history of Arby's. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food.
The history of Arby's, man. Weird history food. They got good content.
And let us know in the comments below what other fast food chains you would like to hear about. Okay, in this video, we have the meats.
Arby's is pretty cool.
Forrest Fuzzy Raffle and his younger brother Leroy each served in America's armed forces during World War II. Fuzzy went into the Air Force, while
I called him Fuzzy.
Leroy went into the Naval Reserve. After the war ended, Fuzzy headed to Cornell, where he received a degree in hotel and restaurant administration. Meanwhile, Leroy went to the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Finance. The two of them reconnected, and in the 1950s, they created Raffle Brothers, Inc.,
Raffle Brothers Inc. fam.
which quickly grew to
Look at diners. These are diners back in the day. No ice. I'm so glad they switched to having ice in the cup, man. You know how quickly those sodas warm up as soon as they're taken out of the fridge, even if they're in that glass. It's just like our body. I think our body temperature is just so warm that it warms up quickly. But yeah, even though the ice melts with the soda and it creates that watery consistency that nobody wants, it's still better, I think.
to become one of the leading restaurant consulting firms in the country. The Raffle brothers came to know the ins and outs of the restaurant industry, paying particular attention to Ray Kroc's exponential expansion of the McDonald's franchise. As other emerging fast food franchises tried to copy Kroc's success,
Wow, that like those cars are worth so much now, bro. So much now, but everybody had one back in the day.
including that ruthless despot, the Burger King, the Raffle brothers became confident that they
Burger King has good food. Screw what anybody says. They got some of the cheapest chicken nuggies that are fast food quality out there, fam. They're pretty
could
good.
start a
Underrated, like fast food spots.
successful fast food chain of their own. But instead of placing burgers at the forefront of their new franchise, the Raffle brothers thought they could stand out from the crowd by offering what they believed to be a more upscale menu item, the roast beef sandwich. Thus, in July of 1964, the first ever Arby's opened its doors in the ever-wonderful Boardman, Ohio, exclusively
Originated from Ohio. Okay. All right.
selling roast beef sandwiches, potato chips, and soda. According to some sources, the brothers had initially wanted to call the franchise Big Tex, but an Akron restaurant already had that name. There's nothing more
Everybody be competing over names nowadays.
more American than two restaurants in Ohio fighting over which one is more Texan. At the time when you could grab yourself a McDonald's burger for just 15 cents, the Arby's roast beef sandwich cost a whopping 69 cents, over 4 times as much as its primary competitor. Still, the Raffle brothers were confident that customers would shell out more for their prestigious lunch menu item. They were right. The first Arby's
There's some that pronounce it prestigious. There's some that name it prestigious. I personally pronounce it prestigious.
was such a hit, just 1 year later, a second
That lettuce looks like coleslaw. If there's a lettuce that looks like kind of like coleslaw but like less moist, it's actually pretty good. I don't know how it's prepared like that, but It was good.
Location opened up in Akron, featuring the company's first ever cowboy hat sign.
Cowboy hat sign. Oh wow, what a great
So
day.
that there might never again.
And then it just took the country by storm. I still don't eat. I don't go there for the roast beef, but they have other like roast beef items, and they're actually fire. Like they know how to make them. They're roast beef items. Like they used to have like a loaded fries, and then they added a good burger, but I don't know what it's in reference to. But people like that as well.
Can be any.
So they're known for like their slogan. We have the meat, right? We have the meat, man. They're not like. I don't think they have as much of a standing as like McDonald's and stuff, bro. I think, the price of everything. What? They're all raising the price, man. Everybody, bro.
Any doubt who is more Texan?
It's like it's like lunch meat, right? Like warm lunch meat. I never tried it. I'd be down to try it once. On
Over the 4 years that followed, the Raffle brothers managed to grow their 2-location business into a nation-spanning empire.
I'd be down to try it for a video, but right now I'm giga broke.
Creating
So
300 more locations in about 40 different states. The Raffle brothers and their conspicuously capped franchise were on top of the world. But as the swinging 60s disappeared in the country's collective rear view, the pair realized they'd piled on more debt than a hard-luck cowboy at a blackjack table. They'd taken on one too many bank loans and were running out of money fast. The brothers tried to course-correct by transforming Arby's into a publicly traded company, but SEC changes delayed their public offering. Caught without a paddle, they were forced to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in late 1970. It took half a year for the Raffle brothers to regain
yeah, someone's got to like describe the taste or something to me, because I'm kind of confused on how it would even taste.
control of their company, and it took several years longer for them to emerge from bankruptcy with a profitable company. Even then, it seems they didn't learn.
Hey, takes a lot of years to it's hard. There's very few that just have a very profitable business when they first start. You know what I mean? It's hard to run a business.
From past mistakes. The lure of the giant cowboy hat was just too great. They again rapidly expanded Arby's, this time reaching a monstrous 500 locations before once more finding themselves in need of cash.
We have the meats. When did they add that slogan?
Rather than relying on another public offering, the brothers sold their company to the RC Cola Company outright for $18 million.
I didn't know RC Cola was a conglomerate, but now I do know.
Almost $100 million in today's money. RC Cola is another brand that understands the value of being a customer's third choice. While the pair stuck with the company for a few more years and helped to grow it by another 300 locations, both decided in 1979 that it was time to part ways with their big-hatted creation and retire as 50-year-old multimillionaires.
That would be a nice thing to do, man.
In 1967, 3 years after the first ever Arby's opened its doors, a copycat brand tried to steal their deli sliced thunder. Like Arby's, Jack's Roast Beef was founded in Ohio and quickly grew to have several hundred
Jack's.
locations by the
Never heard of that. Looks like they added more meat onto their sandwich. That's their commercial.
80s. During that time, the chain changed hands and names multiple times. It was renamed to Rick's Roast Beef, back to Jack's Roast Beef, and eventually to Rack's Roast Beef, which it remains to this day. By the mid-1980s, Rack's and Arby's were certified competitors. At one point, both franchises had hundreds of locations, and each specialized in roast beef sandwiches. But there's nothing like a little competition to spark innovation. As each company attempted to outmaneuver the other, each slowly began to increase its product line. Over the course of the 70s and 80s, this competition saw Arby's introduce their famed curly fries, originally called curly Q fries,
Curly Q
their chicken
fries.
sandwiches and Arby's sauce, and their
They have chicken sandwiches. The shake looks amazing though.
ever luxurious
Looks like some nice, good, greasy fast food. Not that like I'd be down to try the fries, but then it's like roast beef, so it's not. It could have been a place I really like. It's just I could eat there every day, really. I'm sure they have a chicken sandwich, so, but yeah.
Curious
Just like expensive connoisseur food, really.
Jamocha shake.
Like if you want to be a tourist in your own city, just go to Arby's, right?
Meanwhile, Rax opened up a bunch of salad bars and started selling baked potatoes. Everybody loves a good baked potato, but next to curly fries, that's like getting socks for Christmas. Needless to say, Arby's was already well on its way to
Nobody wants socks for Christmas. I want an electronic, bro.
dominating Rax. And though Rax managed to have over 500
Guys, I've been having like an irrational fear. My rational fear has been I feel like when I pass away, it feels like I'm gonna live the exact same life right after I pass away, and I don't know how to shake off that fear, bro. It's scary and it's scaring me. But
100 locations during its peak, the company soon began to falter as it tried to set itself apart from its more successful arch nemesis. Rax quickly lost its identity as a roast beef restaurant and began selling everything from pizza to pasta to tacos to desserts. They may have offered payday loans at one point. It found itself struggling to keep its customer base. By the start of the 90s, Rax was in sharp decline. Not even 1992's introduction of Mr. Delicious, a Hail Mary of a TV mascot designed to charm customers with some dry humor, could save
who's Mr. Delicious?
Rax roast beef from bankruptcy. They went broke by the end of that year, and they slowly bled most of their restaurants over the decade that followed. Today, fewer than 10 Rax roast beef locations still stand. And if you pull up to the drive-thru wearing a cowboy hat, they turn off all the lights and lock the doors.
What? Arby's was like, nah, man, we're the better spot. But hey, at least Rax is still around, right? Somebody's making racks from Rax. Now I gotta travel all the way over there to try the slightly different tasting food.
Arby's may have emerged victorious against its closest competitor, but that doesn't mean the company hasn't experienced its share of hardships. In the immediate aftermath of the Raffle brothers' departure, Arby's floundered for about half a decade. Apparently, RC Cola didn't know how to manage the brand, and they tried turning it into more of a conventional fast food joint for a while.
I would have been down to be a customer if they did it. And they still kind of partially are. Traditional fast food places, just they focus on the roast beef.
Even going as far as to introduce burgers to the menu. How do you thin slice a burger? But everything changed in 1984. That year, Victor Posner, then head of the DWG Corporation, bought up RC Cola in a hostile takeover, like a food and beverage Gordon Gekko, and appointed Ralston Purina's Leonard Roberts to the position of Arby's chief executive. Roberts' first move was to take Arby's back to its roots. This meant tossing the burgers to the curb and amping up the brand's lineup of roast beef, chicken, and deli sandwiches. Roberts then began upping the brand's quality standards, a move that grew Arby's to a whopping 2,100 restaurants by the end of the 80s. But even as Arby's became the most successful it had ever been, trouble was brewing behind the scenes. Roberts felt that Posner was mismanaging the
Wait, so they include that dip? That's pretty cool.
company's finances. Many accused Posner of taking the profits from
Looks like such fake money, bro. It looks like almost plastic.
Arby's and, rather than using them to grow the company further, putting them towards his own personal holdings portfolio. You know, like a food and beverage Gordon Gekko. Eventually, Roberts got fed up with Posner and attempted to lead a franchise buyout of the company. But Posner rejected the offer and fired Roberts for his involvement in the effort. The Arby's brand went back into immediate decline. Posner became entangled in a series of lawsuits
Loaded fries, though?
related to his, let's say, business practices, which led to a judge banning both him and his son from involvement with publicly traded companies in 1993. Posner's entire financial empire quickly collapsed, and he died just 1 year later, leaving DWG Corporation's successor company, Triarch Companies, Inc., to buy out RC Cola.
Dang, it's a lifetime businessman. That's what it seems like he is.
And its subsidiaries in 1994. It's unclear who retained custody of the big hat sign. Arby's went all in on a 1996 rebrand, sinking $100 million into an attempt to transform various locations into roast towns. Picture a Boston market centered around roast beef instead of rotisserie chicken. Having trouble? Yeah, nobody else wanted to picture it either. And the idea went
roast chicken? Hey, wait, no, they're onto something if they start a roast chicken place. You know what I mean?
pork belly up. The brand
You know what it always is great though? A sundae with like nice warm like chocolate sauce, bro.
headed into
Like how McDonald's does it.
the aughts on uneven footing. And by 2010, Arby's was struggling to turn a profit. Triarch, by then known as the Wendy's Arby's Group, attempted to turn the brand around once again by adding a dollar menu and renovating its aging restaurants. Unfortunately, a dollar menu isn't as attractive at a deli. Nobody gets excited about savoring budget meat. And by 2011,
You can buy like some cold lunch meat,
Arby's had been sold once again.
microwave it, and then bam. But nah, Arby's probably tastes better than cold lunch meat.
This time to Rourke Capital Group. Under the new ownership, a whole new side of Arby's
Oh, chicken sandwich?
emerged. The company's strategy changed as they attempted to shake off its aging image and to bring in ever-elusive millennials. They slowly introduced a never-ending rotation of new menu items and limited-time offers, and they took a more comedic approach to their
Philly cheesesteaks.
marketing. Although, sadly, this did not lead to a Mr. Delicious comeback. Sorry, big guy. Some of Arby's hip new decisions included updating their slogan from the stuffy-sounding
Arby's. Slicing up freshness.
to the cheekier
We have the meat.
and
I like the second one. more.
hiring Pulp Fiction and Mission Impossible actor Ving Rhames to voice many of their commercials. In 2014, Arby's tweeted about the hat that Pharrell Williams wore to the Grammys, joking that Williams had been influenced by their logo. Strangely, Dudley Do-Right didn't join in. When Pharrell later listed the hat on eBay to raise money for charity, Arby's doubled down on their joke and became the hat's highest bidder, walking away with it for
Dude,
just over $40,000.
they should sponsor me and
It's a small price to pay for meme
bro. Rich.
history. It was around this time that Jon Stewart, the then host of The Daily Show, regularly and repeatedly took shots at Arby's over the quality of their products. The restaurant was also the frequent target of
So this guy's responsible for their downfall. Ah, okay. Does he still do a show? What happens to that guy, man? He's always
random potshots on the animated sitcom Family Guy. When Stewart retired from The Daily Show in 2015, Arby's, always a good sport, encouraged him to apply at any one of their restaurants.
well.
They also created an
That's
ad
savage.
showcasing Stewart's frequent jabs at their company, all the while thanking him for his friendship. Surprisingly, all this humorously negative attention actually paid off. Prior to the marketing change, only about 38% of Arby's customers were millennials. After Arby's hip rebrand, that number grew to 54%. The house the Raffle brothers built was finally on the upswing for good. In 2018, still under the broader ownership of Rourke Capital Group, Arby's Restaurant Group bought Buffalo Wild Wings and was renamed to Inspire
Yeah. That was a good purchase. Straight up.
Brands, a holding company that has since gone on to buy Sonic Drive-In, Dunkin' Brands, and Jimmy John's. Today, Arby's rakes in nearly $4 billion a year. They have well over 3,000 locations in the U.S., with additional locations in half a dozen other countries. But as the old saying goes, you haven't really made it until you have your own line of booze. And in 2021, Arby's introduced both Curly Fry and Crinkle Fry vodka to the
Aw. The cool bottles. What?
world. Each liquor is French fry flavored and meant to be paired with their signature Bloody Mary recipe. Now you can finally recreate the experience of being day drunk.
Oh, I can't believe that. Imagine they served it. No, I think they had trouble with it. With like the law, if they served it like. I don't think fast food restaurants should serve alcohol. But anyways,
At Arby's, the brand
I will see you next
that
one.
has truly come full circle. So what do you think? What's your
We have the meats. I worked in Arby's. It was easier and less hassle than a McDonald's Burger King. That's because it's a freaking getting less customers. All right, they had some good items. Anyways, I will see you next one, fan. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, check out Weird History Fruit in the description. I'll see you next one. Press the join button, please. Cashapp in the description, please. Guys, I've been broke. I'm not gonna get paid this month, so